peaceful places like this. So now we've come to a place called Chamelivan. We came to Vrindavan expecting to see forest, and it looks more like our Bombay than forest. But here we see nice forests. On the way here, those of us who are walking, we saw nilgai. Many times we come here, we see nilgais, and so many other creatures are here. So this is probably the northernmost petal of Dham. We're so far north, we left UP behind, we're in Haryana now. And in a few days we'll go, or a couple of days, we'll go to Rajasthan. In the far west, on the western petal of Braj. So chameli is a type of small tree, little tiny light green leaves, and just finished. Last week we were with the devotees from Chennai, but we went to Raval, in that beautiful garden there. We saw a few, just the end of the season, they have little white, very fragrant flowers, chameli. So we know that during this, of course it hasn't cooled down yet, but this is the cooler season, the Sarat Purnima, that takes place in Vrindavan Dham. But in the springtime, the most famous Basant Ras, of course, is in Govardhan. But here also, in this this northern petal of Braj, they also do Ras. And this forest, of course, now just we see sycamore trees, thorn trees. But used to be so many chameli trees here, so many other beautiful flowering trees. And the gopis would make ornaments. Just like the other day, we had nice flower outfits for their lordships. I guess you weren't here, huh? That was, on Astami, 14th. How many were here on 14th? Oh no, you missed it. They made flower outfits for all the deities. So they have beautiful bouquets made out of flowers and outfits made out of flowers. So here in this Chamelivan with all these chameli and madhavi and malati, so all these different flowers, they would make so many beautiful decorations, and the breeze would carry the fragrance, and they would do Ras Leela in this place. But there's a local pastime that has made this place very, very popular. You see, we have a very large temple here, and the local story is that sometimes Krishna and Balaram, they would go out herding the cows. And they would be having so much fun, just like all of us, we're having so much fun. They were herding the cows and we were chanting the holy names. And my dear godbrother from New Zealand just took us to the height of Kirtan. This is my dear godbrother, Kalasabar. And we didn't have any other, of course Dadi Baksha is here. And earlier I saw Moksha Lakshmi and Deva Dehiti. Who else is here? Prabhupada disciple. Oh, you're an old devotee, but
Mother's already gone.
Alright.
They have darshan.
So anyway, every day we're seeing that we're disappearing, so we're very fortunate to have Kalas Sambar's association and to show us how they do it in New Zealand. That's real kirtan. So anyway, Krishna and Balaram and the cowherd boys, they were having a good time. It became light at night, but they were still having too much fun playing in the forest. So Mother Yasoda, she got worried. Why? It's getting late. Where is Lala? So she took a stick. Where is this rascal now? And she was wondering, and everybody pointed to this forest here. So she came here with her stick. And Krishna saw Mother Yasoda's coming and she's in a very angry mood. So he jumped into the big lake. You saw behind you, there's a big lake. And when he popped out, he had this beautiful monkey face. So Mother Yasoda, she stopped her search for Lala. She did puja of Hanuman, who was actually her Lala. So here we have Hanuman. This is not actually Hanuman, this is Krishna in the form of Hanuman. So he took form as Hanuman in this forest. So in the other altar, of course, we have Sitaram, Lakshmana and Hanuman. And finally at the end we have Radha Krishna. But this is Hanuman, it's actually Krishna in the form of Hanuman. So this is a very, very amazing forest, especially I believe on Tuesdays, and thousands of people will come here. There's a big festival here every Tuesday. So this place has become quite famous now. We'll tell one amazing pastime of Srila Prabhupada. Because I first joined Krishna consciousness in a place called Boulder, Colorado. It's right at the foot of the Rocky Mountains. And it's a very cold place. I joined on Janmashtami Day, so right after that, started to become very cold. So the devotees sent me to LA to get trained up. So in LA I met a nice devotee named Mahapurush, who was an old devotee from 26 2nd Avenue. Long back. So in the Lower East Side of New York, it became famous that if you went to 26 2nd Avenue at noontime, you could get free food. And very interesting food. These funny little flat breads, round like this, called chapatis. Some type of spicy vegetable called sabji. And some bean soup they called dal. And of course rice we knew. And they had some type of sweet called gulab jamun. Prabhupada said, "Ye hamara ISKCON goli hai." These are ISKCON bullets. So all the young people, they were all actually coming from nice families, but they realized there's no happiness in having all this wealth and everything. There wasn't any real happiness, lasting happiness. So they'd given up everything, gone to the Lower East Side, gone to Haight-Ashbury, gone to LA, everywhere. All these hippies were there. And they had no money, so free food was a big deal. So he used to come sometimes to take prasad. And Prabhupada, you just imagine, Prabhupada was sitting there directing to give him more rice, more dal, give him a gulab jamun. Prabhupada was directing the whole thing. And he was sitting there personally where all these young people were taking prasad. So Mahapurush, sometimes he would go. So one day he was going and Prabhupada was sitting there. And it was just so nice being in Swamiji's presence. Just felt so good to be in his presence. And he just didn't get up. Everybody already left. Just throw their plates in the sink. They're hippies, they didn't even bother to wash their hands. Just what to speak of washing the plate, they just throw the plate. What to speak of washing their hands, they didn't even wash the plate, just throw the plate, not washing the hands and go. So after a while he looked around, he noticed there was only two people in the room, him and Swamiji. And he began to think, oh, somehow all of these pots, they get clean for cooking every morning, every day. Somehow all these plates, they get washed for serving out the next day. He said, I'm not doing it. I'm not usually here. There's only one other person in this room who could be doing this. So he thought, gee, maybe I should help him. So he got up and began to pick up the pots and pans. And then suddenly Prabhupada smiled. And he said, I was just praying to Krishna to send someone to please kindly help me. I was just praying to Krishna to send someone to please kindly help me. Because nobody has understood the meaning of Trinadapi Sunichena like Srila Prabhupada. He could have stayed here in Vrindavan, any Gaudiya Math, they loved his preaching, they loved his kirtans, they loved everything. So what to speak of cooking or cleaning, he would have people cooking and cleaning for him. But he left all that, went to the capital of Kali Yuga, Kali Yuga Rajdhani, New York City, where our regular principles, breaking them, that's the daily life of New York. And here was the pure devotee. He was cooking and he was cleaning up after these young people of America. And you don't want to know about our lives. Just like Yamaraj, he's got one secretary named Chitragupta. Chitra we know means pictures. And Gupta means secret. So you thought, oh, nobody saw that. Chitragupta got you. Oh, nobody saw that one. Chitragupta got you. We were the type of people who crashed Chitragupta's hard drive. And Prabhupada was cooking and cleaning for these type of people. Nobody has known what Trinadapi Sunichena means like Srila Prabhupada. Just to save us from this hellish life of Kali Yuga. We can't imagine the mercy of Srila Prabhupada. He was so happy. Oh, I was just praying to Krishna to send someone, please kindly help me. And then gradually more and more boys came, and then the whole movement began to expand like anything. And just the other day was Rama-bhakti, yes, yesterday, huh? I can't remember the exact year, but on Rama-bhakti was when Srila Prabhupada finished translating Chaitanya Charitamrita. I forgot to announce it yesterday. I forgot the year, but if you look at the Chaitanya, at the very last page of Chaitanya Charitamrita, Prabhupada mentions that is 10th November, which corresponds to the 11th day of the dark half of the month of Kartik, Rama Ekadasi, and I'm finishing this Chaitanya Charitamrita. I forgot the year. You see in the last part of Chaitanya Charitamrita, Prabhupada says Rama Ekadasi. So we can't imagine. We're simply amazed. It's just amazing to see all the devotees. We thought, like I said, in 72 we thought 40, 50 devotees came. We thought, oh, that was a big festival, big Kartik festival. Now, we couldn't even imagine that it would be like this. We couldn't even imagine such a thing. And you shouldn't feel bad that you never had association with Prabhupada. Because Prabhupada always used to say that the grandfather, he's more merciful than the father. So you all have Prabhupada as your grandfather, spiritual master. He'll be more merciful to you than to us. So don't feel unfortunate. You're most fortunate. You have Prabhupada as your grandfather and now even great-grandfather, spiritual master. Srila Prabhupada ki! So I guess you're all thinking, when is this guy going to stop talking and we can eat? Huh? So unless anybody has any questions? Yes? One more Prabhupada. Okay, I'll tell the short one. When I was in LA Temple, whenever Prabhupada came, I would always make sure I was right in front of the Vyasa-san when Prabhupada gave his class. And of course now in my old age I can't sit on the floor like all you young people. But even when I was young, I had a lot of trouble. My legs were just made in a different way. So it was difficult to sit on the floor. So Prabhupada was sitting in a Vyasa-san class, was about to start, and he pointed to me like this. I looked, maybe my dhoti's flying open or something. I didn't see anything. And I sat up, my hands like this, like a yogi, you know, and I sat up, and Prabhupada went like this, and I said, well, whatever it was, it's finished, you know. So I froze in this position, and Prabhupada was giving in the class. Suddenly in the middle of the class, because devotees, especially if you have a hard time sitting on the floor, you had this bad habit of going. And if you're giving class, it's so distracting. So Prabhupada stopped in the middle of the class, he looked straight at me and said, don't do that. Srila Prabhupada ki.
One question.
All right, what's that?
What is Dwarka Krishna and Vrindavan Krishna?
When Krishna's in Dwarka, he's Purna, complete. But when he's now in English you can't have there's no such word as completer or completest. But somehow in Mathura he's Purnatam, completer. No such word, but what to do? Krishna is beyond all our descriptions. Because in Dwarka he's a big king, and Mathura is still a little boy. In Dwarka he's a big king. So the sweetness is a little bit less. In Mathura there's a little more sweetness, still some, just like when he, after he got rid of Kamsa, you know, then Vasudeva and Devaki came and they realized, they saw him kill Kamsa, they know this is the Supreme Personality of God. Of course they saw him in the prison, they know. And Krishna and Balaram were standing there expecting that. They haven't seen their mother and father since their birth. They never saw him. Huh? So, and they're just standing there, stunned in, you know, great awe and reverence. And then Krishna and Balaram began to cry. Then their praying overwhelmed that awe and reverence, that Aishwarya. And then Devaki took Krishna and Balaram, you know, and hugged them like that. So there's still some sweetness in Mathura. But in Vrindavan, Krishna is paripurnatam, completest. There's no such word. We have good, better, and best. But Krishna in Dwarka, he's best. In Mathura, he's bester. And in Vrindavan, he's bestest. Okay? And here the Aishwarya is covered with Madhurya. This is the most opulent. There's nothing more Aishwarya than Vrindavan, but it's covered with sweetness.
Thank you so much.
Anyway, I can hear the signal is coming. Hare Krishna.